How far will a man go to uphold his ego and pride? Will he go to the extent of killing his entire family? In this video, we're going to see how a man's ego can bring one into a criminal trilogy. This video is a very dark and viewers' discretion is advised. John List, born in Bay City, Michigan, from a well-established family, well-educated and had a prominent career path. John was a quiet and reserved person, a man with little words they may say. He was in the army and then he became a well-known accountant and later on joined an accounting firm in Detroit. And that's where he met Helen, who later became his wife. Helen was already married with a daughter named Brenda. John and Helen had a pretty good life. They had 3 children together and eventually became a family of 6. Life was going good. The only setback was Helen was increasingly becoming an alcoholic and somewhat starting to get a little unstable. But this didn't affect John. He was very successful and eventually he became the comptroller of a bank. He was performing so well and earning the big bucks. With this success, they later on moved on to a 19-room Victorian-era mansion in Breeze Knoll. 19 rooms for 6 people? Sometime later, Brenda, Helen's first child, had married and moved on. At this point, John and Helen lived with their 3 kids, happily in the mansion. One happy family living the high life, that's what it seemed from the outside. But things didn't stay the same forever for John. Things took a toll in 1971. The bank that John was working at got suddenly closed down and he lost his job. This means that his only income for the family has been cut off. John didn't share this with his family. He kept on going to work every morning, and that's only because his ego and pride was too much for him. He was too embarrassed to be truthful to his family. Every day he would say he's going to work and would sit at the Westfield railway station reading newspaper the entire day. This went on for a while, and he was not getting any other jobs either. You might be wondering how he would have survived with his family expenses. At first, he managed to live off his savings for a while, and later on, he started swindling money from his own mother's bank account. Eventually, after a while, all this money gets drained off. On 9th November 1971, a gloomy day, a quiet morning. As usual, John wakes up to go to his pretended work. But this day was different. John realized that he could no longer hide his secret with the family. He took his gun. He walked quietly to the room. Without any warning or signal, John shot his wife Helen in the head. Within moments, he went on to shoot his mother, Alma, on the top of her left eye. He didn't stop there. He patiently waited for his daughter and son, Patricia and Frederick, to return home from school. As the daughter came home, Patricia, he shot her in the head, followed by Frederick. But wait, there is one more son left. After being so heartless and committing 4 cold-blooded murders of his own family, we would have imagined him to be guilt-wracked, or have an emotional breakdown, or probably waking up to, what the hell did I just do? But John settled down all calmly and made lunch for himself. He then went to close both his and his mother's bank account. He then went on to fetch his only child left, John Jr. He went on to fetch him from school after his soccer session. While reaching the house, John Jr. noticed something was wrong. He tried to defend himself and John shot him 10 times. And then John listed his family bodies in the hall and wrote a 5-page letter to his pastor. This letter had contained the funeral arrangements and his wishes for the contents of the mansion. What a nice guy. In the letter, he declared that he had killed them to save their souls and assured they would end up in heaven. He claims he was indirectly doing his family a favor. Following that, he carefully cut away his picture from all the photos around the house while playing religious music. It took 1 month for them to discover the murders. He was indeed planning this for a while. He wrote notes to the school to inform that his family was going to be away to visit sick relative, and strangely, he stopped the newspaper and milk delivery to the house as well. He went scot-free after that. He took a train from Jersey to Michigan and then to Colorado. He settled down in Denver in 1972, adopted a new name, Robert Peter Clark, which he had taken from his college classmate. He worked several jobs, met Dolores Miller, whom he married in 1985, and moved to Virginia. Police tried to find John, but it was unsuccessful. The case went cold eventually. Almost 18 years later, in 1989, America's Most Wanted picked up his story and telecasted it in an episode. Ideally, a neighbor from his old neighborhood had identified him and reported it to the police. Ironically, the image they telecast was more accurate to John 18 years later than the images he cut off from his family albums. You may wonder, how did such an accurate picture of him appear on TV? Remember, this was 80s, no high-tech computer graphics. And somehow this was based on a sculpt art from a forensic artist, Frank Bender, based on some few scanty images gathered by the police, and purely a smart way of guesswork. On the 12th April 1990, John List was convicted with 5 consecutive life sentences. John eventually died at the age of 82 in prison. Now, here comes the strange part. The mansion had burned down through an arson attack after the murder. And through the finding, the skylight that was in the ballroom was actually a signed Tiffany original worth almost $100,000. And only his wife knew about the skylight all along. If only he had the ability to put his pride aside and told his wife what really happened. She would have at least given him a hint about the skylight, which was good enough to solve all their financial problems. Alright guys, that's all for today. If you guys like this video and want to see more similar videos like this, subscribe to our channel and check on all notifications so you will not miss any of our latest videos. If you guys come across any videos or channels worth sharing, share it with us and we'll share it to the world. Be sure to check out our contact details in the video description below. See you guys in our next video.